All right, guys. Very blessed to be by a beach in beautiful sunshine. Going to talk about alternative kind of miracle cures, and you've got to put that in air quotes, right? In a moment, like aside from mature hops extract. Now, the seemingly miraculous stories keep coming in. The recent one, new one for me, is had a lady post on one of the fixed groups about stretch marks just disappearing after a few weeks on the product. And then somebody else said, well, after she posted that, I went and had a look at mine, and lo and behold, they're either disappearing or lightening or going away. And all of this makes sense because your body's going to heal what it can in the right order. Anyway, so yeah, they keep flooding in these miraculous stories. But of course, like I've said before, the product is not a miracle. You are the miracle. The big secret that modern medicine doesn't want you to know is that you heal. Your body is incredibly good at healing itself. Okay, now, there's an important question though, which is, okay, if this works by telling your body it must go into healing mode, are there any other things that you can do that don't cost money that might do the same thing? So, let's just explore a few of those things. And I think we have to start with kind of the most obvious, but this is something that's been forgotten really by our culture, which is convalescence. Convalescence, this is something that previous generations really knew about. When you'd been sick or you'd experienced trauma, you would go and heal. You'd step out of your normal life, away from the stresses and the cares of your normal life, which is really important, and you'd go to a special place, a sanatorium, a retreat, whatever. Now, very often, particularly for tuberculosis in Victorian times, these were at altitude, so there'd be clean air. People used to understand the value of good air, actually. What does Buenos Aires mean? It means good airs, right? Good water. The Romans and other cultures have always understood the power of healing waters, maybe mineral rich, right? We've forgotten about that. We've forgotten about the benefits of altitude. We've more than forgotten about the benefits of sunlight. So, people with tuberculosis used to go up to altitude and bathe butt naked in the sunlight where there's more UV light. Anyway, so convalescence. The point is, why it works is that you, apologies if you can hear the sea, I'm right by the sea now. The point is that you're taking the stresses out of normal life so that you are allowing your body to heal. You've got no other job than just to get better. And it works. Okay. There's a kind of a whole group of other areas as well. Like, I've just had my feet in the water, so I'm grounding, so I'm picking up spare electrons from the earth. Our ancestors were in contact with Mother Earth for their entire lives, from conception till death. But these days we tend to be slightly positively charged, which means we're lacking in electrons, and you can prove this. So there's grounding, also sunlight. I'd kind of group those all in with nutrition, really, which is, it's stuff that is definitely helpful for the body if you're healing. If you ain't healing, then any benefit is going to be limited. So you want to be in healing mode, you want to be in deep healing mode, and you can't do that when you're in stress and your cortisol is high. That is my current understanding. And by the way, there's also a discussion going on as well, because there's a lot of people just having to learn very quickly about this product, about whether caffeine negates the effects to a greater or lesser extent. So I know, because I've just had 2 or 3 weeks on coffee, so I thought, wow, this is amazing. You know, when I started on Fix and I saw those mental health benefits immediately, I thought, this is great. You know, I can slacken, I can cheat now. So I did, and obviously I've been away to the US and used coffee to prop myself up here and there. And the mental health benefits, I think, definitely drifted away to some degree. So I've knocked the coffee on the head anyway. Back to the story. So yeah, grounding, sunlight, all that kind of thing. Fasting is another similar one. Can be very helpful, and the reason is because rather than putting in what you need, you're taking the stress away from your digestive system, which is digestion is hard work, puts strain on the body. So again, very helpful, with an important caveat, which is that if you take fasting too far, you can then create stress, right? Your heart rate can go up, your blood pressure can go up. If you are elevating your cortisol through fasting, then you're defeating the object. So again, can be helpful. Does it force you into healing mode? No, I don't think it does. I think it's helpful. Okay. Another one like breath work. So there's a whole, maybe kind of whole area of the spiritual stuff as well, which again can be helpful but doesn't necessarily force you into healing mode. So breath work, prayer, very interesting, and meditation. Interestingly, there have been a lot of studies into intercessory prayer, which is where people pray on behalf of somebody else for healing. And none of these studies has shown a measurable benefit to healing, right? However, when somebody prays who has a spiritual faith of their own, that has been shown to boost healing, which again comes back to the topic we've been discussing about, you know, the importance of belief, maybe believing that you are supposed to be healthy, that you're designed to be healthy, you're meant to be, right? And not accepting the cultural default, which is that we're supposed to age and degenerate. So yeah, praying on behalf of somebody else, not known, but let's say we're agnostic to that one. Then there's other areas like spiritual work, energy healing, remote healing, shamanic work. So here, I guess we're asking the question, is it possible to put somebody else into healing mode remotely or energetically? It may well be. But I think the fact is, I don't really have enough information to say. I believe it probably works. Whether it works that reliably, as in, you know, what else has to be in place for it to work, I don't know. So I'm just going to group all of that again in the agnostic bucket. There's one other area as well, which I think is very interesting, which is to do with drugs and not pharmaceuticals. So I'm talking about cannabis, CBD, maybe like psilocybin, other psychedelics, ayahuasca, for example. And I know that people have reported very powerful healings after having taken mind-altering substances. This speaks then to the very deep connection between the physical and the mental and the spiritual, of course, as well. And maybe we can say that something like THC or psilocybin can help you to drop the stresses, can help you to slip into, okay, acceptance, and right, I'm going to just relax and allow myself to be better. So yeah, I don't know about that, but again, you know, if you're, I think all of these things can only be helpful in the right context, and still I haven't yet been able to come across anything that puts you, that sets you by force into healing mode, other than the Matured Hops Extract 3, marketed as Fix. And if I do, I will let you know. If I come across reasons why Fix is unhelpful or whatever, I will absolutely let you know. But you know, this is me saying right now, I don't think there's anything else that does what this does. And I have never seen anything, not the carnivore diet, not PKD diet, not fasting, not anything have I seen that is having the predictable and reliable impacts that this has. That's where I am right now. I would invite you to get on board. We're just at the beginning of a revolution in health here, and thank God this is marketed by human beings to human beings, me to you. If it was in the hands of pharma, you wouldn't have it, because they don't want you to be healthy. They don't benefit from that. So yeah, there's a revolution going on. Please jump on board. If you want any more information about the product, where to get it, just drop me a comment, say I'd like more info. And particularly, if you would like to promote it yourself, please do. We need you to help. See you later.